If you are a high-ticket coach or consultant doing somewhere between $5,000 and $50,000 a month, and you are starting to realize that you've built a business that owns you instead of a business that actually serves you, and like maybe you're working 40 or 50 hours or maybe even 60 hours a week and you have no time or scalability, or you have overcomplicated everything trying to build this perfect system, or you keep pivoting with all these new strategies before the last one has even had a chance to work. And if that's you, like, listen, I get it because it was also me and I've struggled with this for years, but I am willing to bet you that the real problem that you have is not marketing, your offer, AI. It is a focus problem, because the path to building a $50,000 or $100,000 lifestyle business that actually gives you freedom doesn't come from adding more things, more offers, more social media, more content. It actually comes from reducing things and making things simpler. And over the last 5-6 years, I have helped over 1,000 coaches and consultants break out of this exact trap and build these $50,000 per month profit businesses that feel light, are fun, and are incredibly fulfilling. And so the way that we did that was by stripping away everything that was out of alignment and overly complicated, and just streamlining the process in a way that would give you 3 things predictably and reliably, which is leads every day, customers every week, and clients every month. And so if your current plan is, I just got to post more on Instagram or hustle harder, you're really not going to like what I have to say in this video, but I want to invite you to stick around because it's vitally important if you are looking to build a lifestyle business that can actually serve you instead of become a prison. So it's cool that I've been able to build this kind of a business for myself, but even cooler is that these same strategies and systems work for our clients like Kevin, who came to us. He's an awesome entrepreneur, loves to surf on Fridays, but he came to us making $8,000 a month, learned ads, and went all the way up to $80,000 a month. Or Jessica London, pelvic floor therapist, mom of 2, and realigned her business, and she went from $10,000 to $45,000, $50,000 a month, but more importantly has a business that feels aligned and actually gives her time freedom. And then you have AJ, who is an in-person fitness coach and wanted to transition to an online business coach. So starting from scratch, and we helped him go from 0 all the way to $20,000 a month. And then he continued to go to $30,000, $40,000, and even $50,000 a month, and won the Skool Games twice using our systems and strategies that we shared with him, because these are the same systems and strategies that I used to win the Skool Games 3 times. The first time we added $24,000 a month in recurring revenue. The second time we added $42,000 in recurring revenue. And the third time we played in a Royal Rumble against all of the best communities on Skool, and we placed 10th. We added $44,000 a month in recurring revenue in that game as well, using these strategies that I'm going to share with you in this video. But before I do, I got to give you a little bit of backstory and back context, because 6.5 years ago, my first daughter was about to be born. I was 34. I was working as an independent certified financial planner, and I hated it, to be honest. I felt stuck, and I had this sinking feeling like if I don't make a change now before my daughter's born, like I might not get this chance again. And so I made a pretty significant investment in a program to learn how to go online and build my own thing. And the coolest thing happened. I learned how to build a funnel and launch an ad. And 90 days later, I got a client and they paid me $5,000, a stranger from the internet. And that just totally changed my world about what was possible. And I remember that first year was so hard. I was failing, learning, iterating, selling, and just, it was so hard, and maybe you can relate. And at some point though, I realized like I fell in love with that process, and I enjoyed that work so much more than being a financial planner. And so I actually sold my financial planning business to go all in on what you see today. And so the last 6 years, I've been a business coach. I've been a consultant. We've worked with 7-figure brands, worked with over 1,000 clients, made all of the mistakes, and love this work. And so that's what you're seeing today. But I can tell you, in my own journey and working with thousands of clients, you start to see some patterns. You start to see the core problems and challenges that everybody who's trying to build these coaching and consulting businesses face. And when you can figure out how to solve these problems, then you can actually build a simple lifestyle business that gives you the freedom that you might be looking for. All right, so the first big problem, myth, lie that we tell ourselves or that we hear from other influencers is you just have to do more. You have to do more chats, more comments, more content, more social media channels, just more. But like more of the wrong thing is a recipe for burnout and exhaustion. You first have to figure out like what is the right thing to do, or what are the 1 or 2 things that most yield the best results for you in your business. And then you can do more of those. But until you figure out what those are, do not do more. You just burn yourself out. Okay. The second big problem is, you're smart, I'm smart, and it's a blessing and a curse, because inevitably what happens, smart people, they build these they make everything complex. Okay. So they build complexities, they build complex funnels, and they build systems because they can see, all the different solutions. But what happens is it quickly becomes this puzzle instead of an actual business. And so this is what I call the sophistication trap. And it's kind of like a humbling experience to realize that in order to get your goals, you actually is a lot simpler than you think, but you kind of have to put your ego in check. And so this is the second big problem, myth, lie that keeps us stuck. Now, the third one is like, let's say that now you figured out how to get appointments and you're booking calls, but you quickly realize like you actually don't want that. You don't want your calendar jam-packed with sales calls. I mean, maybe you do, but they got old real quick for me. And, you end up with people who don't show up. You end up with people who are too cold. They don't buy. And like, if I got to sell on the call, I don't want to do that really. And so figuring out a way to be able to sell without all of that time in your calendar was a huge unlock. But until you figure that out, this is a big constraint for people. For building a business that actually gives you freedom, this is like a major, major bottleneck. And then number 4, and this is very like right now, it's very relevant right now with AI, is a lot of coaches, consultants are fearful or are worried about, number 1, they feel invisible. They're not getting the reach that they used to. And number 2 is they're maybe irrelevant because AI is replacing them. But at the same time, there are coaches and consultants who are building single person $1 million businesses with more ease and more fun than ever before. But they're doing something differently. They are building relationships, they are building community, and they are building a personal brand. And then they are working with AI to build GPTs and AI tools and be able to be more of a guide with their clients and less of a teacher. And so there is a real problem right now if you don't adapt, in the next few months or years, like the way that you're doing your business could become totally obsolete. So these are the 4 big challenges that, a lot of coaches kind of get stuck with or are dealing with. And I'm going to propose that these aren't the actual real problem. The real problem is an underlying problem, which is the fact that it occurs to you like there are so many different options to build your business, right? You could do podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, webinars, school communities. Like it's infinite. And the reason that it feels that way is because you haven't aligned with and found one simple system that aligns with who you are, that can deliver predictability, deliver predictable leads, customers, and clients, and that feels good for you and aligned for you. And because of that, you're open to all of the different possibilities. But as soon as you find and choose your system and your path and your business, then everything else becomes noise and it becomes way easier to focus and execute. All right. And so this is why this is the core root problem and challenge. And this is where the Lifestyle Founder system comes into place for me. And maybe it is for you. I'm going to share it with you in just a second. So the Lifestyle Founder system is awesome in that it's a great system and it will bring you leads every day and customers every week and clients every month. But it's not for everybody, and it does have a capacity. It has a limit. And so one of the big decisions that you're going to have to make is, are you looking to build a company that can grow and scale infinitely because you are hiring and you're building systems? Or are you looking to build a lifestyle business that will typically have a cap around $50,000 to $100,000 a month unless you want to pivot and grow and scale in a different way? And so this was a big decision for me, and I have had big teams and I have had small teams, and I just finally realized like what it is I actually want. And it is a lifestyle business, and it is not for everybody. And so I want to help you figure out whether or not this is even going to work for you and worth listening to the rest of this video, because this will be great for you if you are an actual expert. Okay, like you're actually good at what you do. You can actually help get your clients results. If you are a massive action taker, right? So like building this, it requires something. You're going to have to take action. It's not this passive lifestyle. Like you're a founder, right? So you're founding, that founding energy is required. And you are a free thinker, and you are kind of like made for building community and leading people. All right. And so if that's you, like it could be for you. And because if that's you, like really you're here to be a leader. And so if you're here to be a leader, then you really need a business that's going to allow you to be yourself, to be authentic, to learn, to grow, and to inspire others. And if that's true, then you can't build a business model like most people build their businesses, right? You can't build a business where you're doing high pressure sales calls, complicated tech, or just hustling harder, or it's complicated and it's overwhelming. It kind of has to be simple so that you can sit in your zone of genius, right? And so this model and this idea of lifestyle, the lifestyle founder system, and being a lifestyle founder is really about being intentional about your lifestyle design and about your business design. It doesn't happen by accident, and you're not just accepting other people's ideas or models. Even this model works really well, but parts of it might not be a fit for you. And you have to be able to determine what parts to keep and what parts to make your own, like I did. And like every successful one of my clients have. Okay. And so this is for experts who are ready to lead, ready to build something authentic, and ready to take an relentless action and execute consistently. And so if that is you, like this could be a really good fit, but you can just like leave this video if you are looking for the next hack, the fast cash thing, like a passive like lifestyle, like I'm on a hammock. It's like you have a mission, you have a purpose, you're here to make an impact, and you just want a lean model that allows you to do that more effectively and not get wrapped up in all the tech and overwhelm and like bullshit, and just actually give your gift to the world and to your clients. If that's you, then I'm so stoked that you're watching this, and I'm so stoked that I get to share this next thing with you. So the Lifestyle Founder System solves the 4 core problems that are keeping most coaches, consultants, experts stuck between $5,000 and $50,000 a month. And you might make $50,000 a month, but you might not have time, or you might not have the lifestyle that you really want. There's more to building this kind of business than just the financial revenue. And so back when I was in finance, I realized pretty quickly that there was actually only 4 things that I could do to help anybody create more net worth and actually do a good job as a planner. And that was, I could either help them make more money or spend less money. I could help them grow their assets, like their investments, or I could help them decrease their debt. And that was it. If I did one thing, I'd be able to help a little bit. But if I could do all 4, then I'd be able to grow their net worth exponentially and faster. And then as I went in and I narrowed in on my focus of what I'm actually good at, which is helping people make money, I kind of realized that there's, in this online world, there's again 4 kind of core problems that if I can help you solve one, you'll make a little bit more money. But if I can help you solve all 4, then I can give you the freedom and actually grow your business. And it's kind of just math. And so I'm going to share with you really quickly and like what those 4 problems are so that you can get more leads every day, customers every week, and clients every month. So first of all, at the center of this model is actually about you becoming the kind of person who can build a 6 or 7 figure lifestyle business. Is that what the kid, 6, 7? Anyway. And so in order to build that business that can do $50,000 or $100,000 a month, you have to become a new version of yourself. And so at the center of this business model is really that. It's about you becoming the kind of person who can actually attain this goal and result. And that's actually the thing that takes time. And then it's not enough to just have money, because if you have money without flow, like the ability to actually be present and flow with life, or without fun, or without freedom, or without fulfillment, who cares? So there's more to the game than just the money. But the problems that most people struggle with is, number one, they do not have enough leads. And so we need to figure out how to attract leads every day. Now, for us, we do that in 2 ways. Like most people are relying on organic posts or referrals. There's no reliable stream. So the 2 biggest unlocks that you can do here is actually your brand clarity. And then secondly is running ads, because ads are consistent. They're predictable. With Andromeda updates, it's never been easier. And so this is how we solve that problem primarily. All right. The next problem that people have is there's no trust in the marketplace, right? We live it is a trust recession. People are skeptical. And so we need to figure out a way to nurture so that you have customers every week. And the best way that I have found to do that is through your content cadence and then running monthly workshops. You're promoting the workshop, you're doing the workshop, you have replays of the workshop. And all of this is what Skool is really great for. This is where Skool exists. It allows you to build community. It allows you to build a movement, and it allows you to nurture people where they can become customers. And when I say customers, what I really mean is you're looking for intent. So a customer isn't a client, but they have intent. So when somebody books a call, that could be like a customer, or if they purchase a paid workshop or purchase something, even for $1, they're raising their hand with intent. And so this is one of the ways that you can create separation so that you know like who's never going to buy, who has higher intent, and you have to build a little bit of a system and cadence so that you can identify who are the actual good quality leads. All right. Then the next reason that people aren't able to build this kind of business is because they aren't able to make sales. And so they aren't able to convert clients every single month in a consistent way. And the two ways that we can help our clients do that is, number one, is we create a really compelling offer doc. The offer is literally everything. And everything stems from what words you put on the paper. And people do not understand this. They don't have the right structure. They don't have the right frame. They have AI and GPT slop for offer docs. And so having that offer doc is what allows you to sell without sales calls, and also gives you the clarity and confidence to actually sell your thing. And then the second thing is most people are not that great at sales. And so, and also like don't want to sell too hard. And so when you understand how to build a sales machine or a system, you can have content and follow-ups and a process that does most of the heavy lifting for you, coupled with a really good offer doc. You don't have to sell hard at all with this kind of system. And when you get this flowing, that's where it's fun and you actually get freedom. Now, the third big challenge and problem where people get stuck is they have no time. And this is really where the solution is. You have to figure out how to deliver an exceptional result to your client without it taking up your time. And so if you're like charging by the hour or the result is directly connected to your time, then you'll be stuck. Now, this is where we enter an amazing opportunity to be in, because the days of courses are kind of dead, but there's a new thing emerging, which is instead of like teaching people how to do the thing, you can just guide them with AI tools, and it's way faster. The clients love it. And so it's turning your knowledge base or your wisdom or your methodologies, your frameworks into a GPT intellectual property. So it's like you take your intellectual property and you turn it into an AI powered process or a GPT or an AI tool. And then you have to match your model. The business model has to match like what you're trying to optimize for. I have 2 kids. I'm optimizing for a balance of making really good money while also like having the freedom to be a dad, right? If you don't have kids, you might be in a different season. Your model might be different. So you have to match the model of how you deliver for the season that you're in. And when you do this, right, then what happens is you attract leads every day, great. You end up with customers or people identifying who's like the higher intent lead every week. And then you're able to convert every month because you have a good offer and a good offer doc. And you're able to deliver without burning out because you've set your business up with the right foundations. Now, I'm not going to go through this next part in depth. I'm just going to share with you, like, this is the roadmap that we use with our clients. And really, there's 2 parts. You have to get the foundations right of like, what are your numbers and your metrics? What problem are you going to solve? What's the promise of your program and how are you going to deliver? And then there is the actual machine, which is ads, school, community. Then we use a VSL funnel and a workshop funnel where people apply. You have your offer doc, and then you have the skill of sales. And so these are all of the pieces, all right? And these are the things that you build, and this is what allows us to get the result. Now, I'm going to share with you quickly, like this was an unlock for me that it literally just flicked something in my brain, because I realized that if I go with this model, with the lifestyle model, I don't have to infinitely scale. In fact, to build a $500,000 model, now I have worked with over 1,000 people. I've seen a gazillion different offers, and there is like common price, like pricing is an art and a science, but like the most widely used and widely, accepted price points is what I'm using here. And when you figure this out, you realize like, I don't have to infinitely scale. In fact, it's better if I choose not to. Okay, so if you are like newer in the game, being able to charge $1,000 a month for your coaching is totally like normal. That's normal. All right. And for one-on-one in the beginning, if you don't have any clients, like don't try to do anything crazy except one-on-one, do as much for them as you can, get the testimonials. And this is the model. Get your first 12 clients. Once you have those 12 clients, then you start to peel back how much time you spend with each of them. That would be the next play. And then you can add a group offer. And so the way of thinking about this is you have one offer and you have two tiers, one-on-one tier and you have a group tier. One-on-one gets a bad rap, but it's because people don't charge the right price for it. One-on-one is great because it gets the clients better results. Typically, you get better testimonials. The only thing is it caps. So you have to make sure that you price it the right way. But just for simplicity, if you can get 12 one-on-one clients and 60 group clients, same offer, same process, just less proximity and access to you, this is $12K plus $30K per month, which is $42,000, and that's $504,000 a year. Now, like wherever you're starting from, you can change these numbers or you can use different numbers, but here's what I want you to get is like the $500,000 model is 72 people. Like you don't have to infinitely scale. And this is why like you can actually go really niche, be very specific. Now, and then here's the cool thing. As you get better, you don't actually have to change the model. It's still to go to $1 million, right? You get better, which means you get more confident. Still 12 and still 60, but you raise your prices and you go to $2,000 a month for one-on-one and you go to $1,000 a month for group. That becomes 24 and 60, $84,000 a month, or just over $1 million a year. And this is like realizing that it's just, I don't need to scale forever and ever. It's just 72 people. And the last thing about this is, because I am of the belief, like if you're not growing, you're dying. I worked with Bob Proctor for 3 years. It's ingrained in my brain. And I always thought like, oh, the business has to perpetually grow, until I dropped that and realized like there's lots of parts of my life that I could focus in on and grow and expand. And as a very simple idea is myself. That's an infinite area for me to grow into and become the 10.0 version of myself. And additionally, if I'm doing that, then my personal brand can infinitely grow as well. But my business model and my business structure doesn't have to. But here's what happens. If I work on myself, if I become the 10.0 version of myself, and if I then share that version with the world, then the demand for my work increases because my visibility increases, my authority increases, everything increases by focusing on the personal brand. But my model doesn't have to change. I don't have to hire more people, add more complexities, or do any of that. The only thing that changes over here is my price would go up as my authority and my personal brand got exposure. And so for me, this was just such a huge unlock. And it is what has helped me to grow the business that I have and also help all of our clients, which I'm going to share with you like some case studies of how they applied the different pieces of this and how they got those results. Now, the best part about this is this isn't like a new trick or hack or gimmick. This is like first principles applied in a way that is synthesized to actually achieve the result of a lifestyle business that gives you freedom. And so for Kevin loves to surf. He works really hard. He executes. He has an agency. But before he came to us, he had never run ads before. So ads are is one piece of the puzzle. But that piece of the puzzle for him is what allowed him to go from $8,000 a month to $80,000 a month. All right. And then you have Jessica. So Jessica, when she came to us, she was building like the bro marketer way. She had gone in all of the big programs. She had got to 10K and it just felt misaligned for her. And so we helped her build a school community so that it felt more nurturing. It actually helped to build an audience in her community and warm leads. And she's really great at systems. And as a result, she was able to go from 10,000 to 45,000 and get more of her time back because she had built a system and an ecosystem. And she made a couple of key hires, like an EA and somebody who could sell for her. And she got all of her time back. It was amazing. All right. And so for her, it was like the nurture system that was missing and like doing it in an aligned way. Okay. AJ. So for him, it was the offer. When he started, he was going to do like $100 a month offer. And we geared him towards like, no, just if you're going to do it this way, build a really good offer that you feel confident charging high ticket for. A lot of people spin their tires forever with like multiple offers or low ticket stuff. It's like, just serve people and charge the value, like solve a big enough problem that you can charge big enough price to actually have a business and create the freedom, right? You have to solve big problems. That's what entrepreneurship is. And AJ does a great job of it. And so he was able to go from 0 to 20. Then he won the Skool Games. He learned sell by chat, absolutely crushing it. This guy's a rock star. Okay. Robert, he came to one of our retreats, and this is like a good example of like an identity shift, because he came to our retreat as a firefighter and he left with the possibility and the identity that he's here for more. And over the course of 6 months, he developed an offer. He launched as like a fitness coach. Then he realized most of the firefighters are overweight and unhealthy. So he started working with the firefighters, and he eventually grew his business to $50,000, $60,000 a month as a health coach for firefighters. And he is so on fire for his mission, and he's making a real impact, and he quit. He's no longer a firefighter. He's gone all in on this. And that was a matter of 6 months. So this guy's a legend and absolutely crushed it. And it's like he's aligned with his purpose, and he has a really good offer, and he knows his avatar intimately because he is the avatar. All right. Then we have Brenda. So Brenda came in and she was stuck she's awesome. Okay. She has an amazing skill set. She's a executive, tons of experience, but she was stuck in this low ticket thing where all of that was generating $400 a month. I was like, what are we doing? And so we crafted a high ticket offer. And within 3 months, she had gone from $400 a month to $15,000 a month in recurring revenue. All right. And it was just, again, the right offer for her that made sense. People jumped on it. Now there's like a very easy path for her to grow to $50K per month and beyond. Andreas. Okay. So Andreas came in and he was making around $12K, and he's a sales expert, sales coach. He also recruits. And for him, it was identity, it was focus, it was offer, and then it was workshops. And it was like 4 little tweaks, right? So identity, offer, workshops, ads now. And all of these have added up, and now he is doing $50,000 a month. And that was in 9 months. So he went from $12,000 to $50,000 a month by unlocking those 4 problems. There's still more to go. Like all of those challenges that I shared with you, it's a wheel, because you can always just go back and make them better and grow and grow. All right. Then we have Reese and Michelle. So they were fitness coaches. They came to us at $10K per month, and they had all of this. They were doing organic lives, and they weren't running ads, and it was like complicated. And they were also only charging $1,500 a month. But she's an expert who's been doing this for 30 years. She wrote a book with Bob Proctor, and it's like her price didn't match her authority. And so she was actually repelling the people who would happily pay her the premium price. So she raised her prices to $2,000, then $3,000, then $5,000 for a 90-day health program that helps women over 40 lose weight, look great without giving up wine. All right. And so she's amazing. And they built their business from $10,000 to $45,000 a month. They moved to Mexico. They're in their 60s and husbands in 70s, and they look phenomenal. They're great. They're healthy, and they have a real lifestyle doing what they love. All right. Brian, this one's fun. He came into our program, and just a couple of the first initial messages, whether it could have been a miscommunication on my part, but I was like, this probably isn't it just felt like excuses. And so I actually refunded him, and I was like, hey, this really only works if you're like willing to commit, go all in. It sounds like, maybe you're skeptical or it's not the right time, and it's totally fine. Like, here's the refund. And he came back, was like, I really want to do this. I'm committed. Like, please let me back in. And he came in, and to his credit, I mean, the guy implemented, he learned, he took the coaching, he wrote the offer doc, he built the Skool community. He did everything in 3 months. And in the first 3 months, he was stuck doing low ticket ebooks, like this weird funnel. He went to a Skool community, started running ads to the Skool community, and he generated $53,000 in the second month of cash not collected. So it was about $15,000 in cash collected, and it was $53,000 in contracted. But that was in month 2. All right. So, and it was because he's an action taker, and he implemented it, and he could actually help people. All right. And then Graham, last case study, but I'm sharing this with you because these are like more and more common, and the more people that come in and we figure out like what is the problem for you, and that gets unlocked, then the results happen. Okay. So Graham, there was an identity thing, and kind of like personal life was invading the business, and the business started to get complicated. And so what he did was he simplified. We got on a coaching call, and shortly after that, everything flipped around for him. So he removed relationships, and he went from wanting to quit the program to making back-to-back $50,000 months. All right. And so I share these with you because these are becoming more and more common. We've also worked with 7-figure brands like Sherry Salata, who is the president of Oprah Winfrey, Kelly Brogan, Mark Rose from Create the Love, Tom Cowan. And it's like once you know the things, it's not rocket science, and you can get that result, and I can help you get that result if what you're looking for is a lifestyle business. And so our offer, our program, if you're interested, there should be a button or instructions underneath this video of what to do next. Also, if you want to listen to the videos of those testimonials that I shared, they're probably underneath this video as well. But the goal of our program, my program, is to help you get to 30 to 100K per month in profit, working 4 days a week using the Lifestyle Founder System. Now, I don't know how fast you work or what your current situation is, so I say that in the next 6, 12, 24, or 36 months. But would it be worth it to commit the next 5 years if it meant that you would have that steady, predictable income? It's way better than education in my mind. So the Lifestyle Founder System, what happens is initially we install 3 core systems, and it's likely in this order. So the first system is the Skool Engine, and the Skool Engine is where we add the ads into Skool. You have the funnel, then you have qualified leads, and this is where you direct them to apply, purchase a low ticket, join a membership, do a workshop, whatever's going to be the right fit for you before they become high ticket clients. So that's the Skool Engine. That's system number 1. System number 2 is getting the cadence and the rhythm there, the monthly workshop rhythm, and then the monthly content cadence. And you get those 2 things working together. And then number 3 is having a lean team. So honestly, you can run this business pretty much with an EA and maybe a couple contractors to help with like some content or facilitating the community or a setter. All right. So you got to pick your model, but most of it can be done with a very good EA. And so you got to build a lean team so that you can stay in your zone of genius and actually keep most of the profits. And with the way that I've set up my offer, we make it very easy to get started. We don't lock you in. We only have 72 spots, and we only want to work with the best, the people who are ready to build this kind of business together in a community. And so we have a love it or leave it clause in our offer. You can come in, you can try it, no risk. And if it's not a fit, easy, no problem. And so whatever the button is underneath this video, if you want to see our offer doc, if you want to see if it's a fit for you, just follow the instructions and then I will reach out and we'll go from there. All right. So thanks for watching the Lifestyle Founder System. Hope you found it helpful, even just providing you with clarity. And if you're curious, interested, want to learn more, do whatever it says to do under this video. All right.